didn't look too much like Arnold Schwarzenegger after all of his skin got burned off in that truck explosion, did it? Doesn't look. It looks exactly like T1.
Previously, the Twitter drama continued to play out. Elon Musk battled the likes of Bill Gates and Donald Trump, while Giga Shanghai broke a new record producing over 70,000 vehicles in the month of June following its forced lockdown, and in July and August, Tesla would once again have to stop production, this time to upgrade the factory to massively increase output.
So what we are seeing is, as you said, shutting down those lines for a couple of weeks into early August so that they can upgrade them and be able to double that original planned annual output estimate to 1 million cars a year. Not only do you have huge demand for the cars in China, which is the world's biggest EV market, the world's most mature in many ways, but they want to be able to ramp up exports, not just to Europe, which that Chinese factory has been feeding quite consistently, but to other parts of the world. China is becoming a very key part of Tesla's sort of global picture when it comes to providing cars.
Meanwhile, President Joe Biden signed into law the Inflation Reduction Act, which has some significant impact on electric vehicles and Tesla in particular.
That massive new spending bill also set to boost sales of electric vehicles. It includes hundreds of billions of dollars to address climate change. One program, new tax breaks for electric vehicles. Buyers could get up to $7,500 off an electric sedan priced under $55,000. They'd get the same discount for trucks and SUVs under $80,000. The tax breaks available only to people making less than $150,000 a year or less than $300,000 for married couples. CNBC's Phil LeBeau covers autos for us. Phil, which electric vehicles will qualify for these incentives?
Well, right off the bat, Kayla, it's the models that are built here in the U.S. And two good examples are the Tesla Model Y and the Ford F-150 Lightning. For this reason, the research firm eSource, which tracks the EV industry, has come up with a list of who they call are the IRA EV winners and losers. And among the winners, they point out you've got Tesla, Ford, and GM, and then a few others a few years down the road. And that's because Tesla, Ford, and GM, they either have the assembly lines ready to go right now, or they will be in the next couple of years. By comparison, take a look at who eSource calls the IRA EV losers. And most notably on this list, you'll see the Japanese automakers Toyota and Nissan. And that's because they don't have immediate plans to build EVs here in the U.S. And by extension, that means that for a while, any EVs that they import into this country, they won't get the $7,500 discount.
There was also some news regarding Tesla stock.
Yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on Tesla here on the day, of course. This is on the day of their 3-for-1 stock split. That's going to take effect after the close of trade, and this was voted on the 4th of August and approved by shareholders there. So it's effective following today's close, and 3-for-1 essentially just means that the shares as priced tomorrow, once you start to see them trading pre-market, they're going to be at about $300 if you kind of just divide this number by 3. Simple math.
Then some news breaks regarding Andrej Karpathy.
The EV maker's AI and Autopilot chief says he's leaving the company. Ed Ludlow back here with more. Obviously, this is a critical role.
Yes, this is Andrej Karpathy. He's been at Tesla since 2017, but he went on leave in March. And, sources have told me this was a guy that didn't miss a day of work for 5 years. He went on leave. He's tweeted that he's leaving Tesla, in strong, capable hands. Autopilot, the work Tesla's done on AI to power that camera-based technology has really come a long way. But he's doing something new. We just don't know what.
So do we know if this had anything to do with disagreements or a deprioritization of the work that he's doing?
Is this the end of the world for Tesla as the media portrays it? Let's see what Elon has to say.
Well, since Andrej was writing all the code by himself, naturally things would come to a grinding halt. Andrej's awesome, and we have tremendous amount of respect for Andrej. He's decided to, I think he wants to contribute more to, I think, core AI at an academic level and get back to coding individually. But we've got a team of about 120 people in our software AI group that are extremely talented.
And speaking of Autopilot and AI, Tesla was ready to hold their Artificial Intelligence Day, where we're likely to hear the following.
We will likely hear where things stand on the development of the Optimus humanoid robot. This is not Optimus. This is not a humanoid robot. This is from AI Day last year when they had a guy in a morph suit come on stage to dance around to talk about that they are working on developing a humanoid robot that will be expected to assist at the Tesla plants or in other manufacturing facilities. For Elon Musk, the thing to keep in mind is that he is using this to recruit. As I mentioned, he is using this as an opportunity to say to people, if you're interested in artificial intelligence, we're the place where you want to work.
Welcome to Tesla AI Day 2022. So should we bring out the bot?
So this is essentially the same full self-driving computer that runs in your Tesla cars, by the way.
This is literally the first time the robot has operated without a tether. It was on stage tonight. So the robot can actually do a lot more than we just showed you. We just didn't want it to fall on its face. So we'll show you some videos now of the robot doing a bunch of other things.
Yeah, we wanted to show a little bit more what we've done over the past few months with the bot, and just walking around and dancing on stage. Just humble beginnings, but you can see the Autopilot neural networks running as is, just retrained for the bot directly on that new platform. That's my watering can.
Yeah, when you see a rendered view, that's the robot. That's the world the robot sees. So it's very clearly identifying objects. Like this is the object it should picking it up. Yeah.
We use the same process as we did for Autopilot to collect data and train neural networks that we then deploy on the robot. That's an example that illustrates the upper body a little bit more.
That's not the only thing we have to show today, right?
Yeah, and we actually have an Optimus bot with fully Tesla designed and built actuators, battery pack, control system, everything. It wasn't quite ready to walk, but I think it will walk in a few weeks. But we wanted to show you the robot, something that's actually fairly close to what will go into production, and show you all the things it can do. So let's bring it out.
Do it.
Our goal is to make a useful humanoid robot as quickly as possible. You've all seen very impressive humanoid robot demonstrations, and that's great, but what are they missing? They're missing a brain. They don't have the intelligence to navigate the world by themselves, and they're also very expensive and made in low volume. Whereas Optimus is designed to be an extremely capable robot, but made in very high volume, probably ultimately millions of units, and it is expected to cost much less than a car. I would say probably less than $20,000 would be my guess.
Okay.
The potential for Optimus is, I think, appreciated by very few people.
Hey!
As usual, Tesla demos are coming in hot. And the potential, like I said, is really boggles the mind, because you have to say, like, what is an economy? An economy is sort of productive entities times their productivity, capita times output, productivity per capita. At the point at which there is not a limitation on capita, it's not clear what an economy even means at that point. An economy becomes quasi-infinite. this means a future of abundance. It really is a fundamental transformation of civilization as we know it. But we need to do this in the right way. We need to do it carefully and safely and ensure that the outcome is one that is beneficial to civilization and one that humanity wants.
Meanwhile, the media had their take on the event.
It got some reaction. I think a lot of people are sitting there saying, we're short on details here. Let's see if this develops over the next several years.
Well, gee, it didn't look too much like Arnold Schwarzenegger after all of his skin got burned off in that truck explosion, did it? Doesn't look. It looks exactly like T1. What happens after? There's no way you could come out of that. Remember when the truck?
I'll be back.
Remember when the truck exploded?
Yeah.
That's exact. All you need are those eyes, those
red ones. Cyborg eyes.
Oh,
yeah. Morph back into a real person.
And this is being developed by the same guy who said AI is going to make a nuclear holocaust look gentle. Isn't that the same guy who said that? Phil, what is he doing here?
He has warned about the dangers of unchecked AI development. He has warned about that.
And then he builds that thing. Okay.
Meanwhile, there were some fascinating insights into Tesla's business that were discussed during Tesla's annual shareholder meeting.
I thought it's interesting to look at the cumulative profitability since inception, and this approximately tracks to sort of mental pain, actually. This is psychic damage. That green curve is approximately correct. But I'm just very proud of the fact that we've actually been able to produce more cash than we have spent, and have positive retained earnings and be worth our salt, essentially. And that's a really big deal. And it's very hard. So, I mean, this is a big deal, and I think it's going to go up from here. Yeah. So Model Y. You definitely don't want to count chickens until they're hatched, but I think we're tracking to have Model Y be the highest selling vehicle by revenue this year, and the highest by unit volume next year. Still a lot of work to do in Berlin and here in Austin to spool up these 2 gigafactories, and we've got different supply chains, and so there's a host of problems. None of the problems are individually all that difficult, but there's like 10,000 of them. So the rate of production is like how fast can you solve the 10,000 problems, essentially. And we're solving them pretty fast, but a lot of work to do. Now, I'm sort of surprised that people, or at least like analysts out there, are not really understanding the importance of the Optimus robot. My guess is Optimus will be more valuable than the car than long term. And in fact, it'll, I think, turn the whole notion of what's an economy on its head. At the point at which you have no shortage of labor, an economy is GDP per capita. If you do not have a capita constraint, then the economy just can be arbitrarily huge. I wonder how many cars we'll have in 10 years. 10 years ago, we had less than 3,000 cars. Now we've made 3 million. I'd say 100 million is pretty doable. I'd be surprised if it's not over 100 million in 10 years.
Now remember, at the start of this episode when we mentioned that Tesla was stopping production in China to upgrade their production lines, well, now that production's up and running, let's see what the results are.
Also, speaking of China, Tesla delivering over 83,000 China-made electric vehicles in September. That's according to data from the China Passenger Car Association. And it marks a record for the automaker, an 8% increase from August delivery numbers.
So while production in China is picking up, Tesla was about to release Q3 delivery numbers.
Tesla shares sinking in the pre-market. Phil LeBeau joins us now with a closer look at the delivery numbers that it released and maybe the details. Changing a little things about the actual process of manufacturing or delivering, or what did Elon Musk say?
It's more the delivery, and it's the in-transit process that is
behind the miss for the third quarter in terms of deliveries. Here's the numbers for Tesla for the third quarter. The expectation was for deliveries of 364,000 vehicles. The company delivered 343,000, about 6% light of expectations. But the bulls will say, hey, look, they produced 365,000. They really hit the target if you think about it. They just didn't deliver them. Why didn't they deliver them? In a press release, Tesla said it is becoming increasingly challenging to secure vehicle transportation capacity at a reasonable cost during these peak logistics weeks. The Q3 results will be coming on October 19th.
Quiz time. To preview earnings, how many negative narratives can CNBC conjure up in the next 13 seconds? 3, 4, or 5? Remember, 13 seconds is what we're talking about here.
Tesla shares down 29% the past month. The EV maker faces difficulties with demand. It missed on deliveries, reporting 15,000 fewer than expected. Oh, and this guy Elon Musk has been front and center in the drama surrounding his pending Twitter deal.
So with that wonderful preview of Tesla's earnings out of the way, how did Tesla do in Q3?
In terms of revenue, you have a slight miss on revenue, not by a lot, but a slight miss. The estimate was for $21.96 billion, came in at $21.45 billion. They did beat on the bottom line, earning $1.05 a share. The estimate was for 99 cents a share.
Tesla also reported 26.8% automotive gross margins excluding credits. They cracked over $21 billion in cash on hand, all while further reducing their long-term debt down to just $2.1 billion. And then during the conference call, Elon addressed the key negative narratives surrounding Tesla, starting with questions regarding demand.
Let's see, with respect to demand, I can't emphasize enough, we have excellent demand for Q4, and we expect to sell every car that we make for as far into the future as we can see. The factories are running at full speed, and we're delivering every car we make and keeping operating margins strong.
Then Elon shared his opinions on Tesla's falling stock price.
While the market themes revolve around the short term, it's very important to focus on the long term. I can't emphasize this enough with investors. You have your sort of local ups and downs, but the long-term trend has been extremely good. And several years ago, I said on an earnings call, I thought it was possible for Tesla to be worth more than Apple. Time, I think, was around $700 billion. And we didn't indeed achieve that. Tesla went past Apple's market cap at the time. And now I'm of the opinion that I see a potential path for Tesla to be worth more than Apple and Saudi Aramco combined. Now, that doesn't mean it will happen or that it'll be easy. In fact, I think it will be very difficult, it will require a lot of work, some very creative new products, tremendous expansion, and always some luck. But for the first time, I see a way for Tesla to be, let's say, roughly twice the value of Saudi Aramco. This is the first time I'm seeing that potential.
And it wasn't just Tesla's future Elon was positive on.
I'd like to sort of convey a message of optimism about the future. And like if we work really hard to accelerate sustainable energy, sustainable transport, the future will be good. And I think just make sure people know that. And I'm not suggesting complacency at all. I'm literally saying if we work hard towards a sustainable future, we will achieve it. And the future was bright.
In the next episode, the Twitter drama finally concludes, while Tesla stock, well, let's just say it won't be pretty. Finally, a big thank you to all Patreon members and Ice Lake Investments for making this documentary series possible. And remember, all content is for educational and entertainment purposes and not financial advice. So till next time, I'll catch you guys soon.